Journalists are doing all the work for them and showed repeated violations. I've been texted by so many people inside that company saying they can't believe how they've wrapped themselves around. Someone said they've wrapped themselves around an axle here on this issue. You know, to say he hadn't violated terms and then be shown numerous violations of terms is problematic. And this is what's going to happen. They're going to constantly be in one of these things with some. There's a lot of Alex Joneses out there on both sides, actually. And so what they have to do is sort of understand that at some point they're just going to have to ban people and to accept the problems that come with that. They've done it before. If you remember, I think it was Chuck Johnson, Dick Costello banned him, and he got attacked for being random, and he just pulled him off the platform because he had violated terms. And sometimes you just probably have to go after some of the more high-profile bad actors and remove them as they violate the terms of this whatever the rules there are, which are also very confusing because they aren't enforced as stringently as one would hope. It's an impossible situation, by the way, for all of them there.
Kara, I have to ask what you thought of this Times piece where they actually sat in on a meeting of the Twitter safety team, and then Twitter asked the Times not to publish the names of the team because they were worried about them falling victim to trolls.
Yeah, it was an interesting piece. They didn't invite me in. I would have done that a little differently. But I think that I think what struck me is how incredibly naive that discussion was and where they were on the discussion. You know, the Times really depicted how they just sit around like they're in a college ethics course and are discussing it. And I know there's incredibly thoughtful people thinking these thoughts, but to me that was more for show because they've got, if that's how far they are on these discussions, I'm super worried that they're not going to get to real decisions. And it's also been going on for years. This is a problem that's not a new problem. So I kind of wonder why it's taking so long to come to terms with the problem they've created themselves by not enforcing things, by not thinking about this more, I don't know. I don't know. What did you think of the piece? I thought they seemed they weren't very far down the line on these issues.
I thought it said a lot about how fearful, maybe from within, the team is about the platform itself. I guess that's what people took away from that.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was very instructive about how little control they have over this. And of course, they have complete control over it. And I think the issue is they have some very high-minded ideas about the First Amendment, which they're also conflating with bad behavior, which they're conflating with hate speech. And it is very complex. And there are legal issues, there's slander issues, there's all kinds of things. All weekend long on my Twitter, there's been some incredibly intelligent discussions going on about this with lawyers, with philosophers, all kinds of things, which is the best of Twitter, right? At the same time, all this other stuff is allowed to like persist, and they just can't just remove bad actors from the platform. And those bad actors then in turn abuse the platform and take it right up to the line. And so Kara, they become a creature of it.
I still don't get, why doesn't Twitter just create a decency layer? Like a layer where people choose or have to disclose their real identities, more information, the content is more like programming. I think a lot of major content creators would choose to be there, and the conversation would be a lot clearer. And hey, if you want to have that fringe, free speechy discussion, or you're in a foreign country somewhere that's repressive, you can use kind of the dark web Twitter and take your chances there if you want. Why don't they do that?
You know, Reddit kind of did that, right? They moved a lot of that stuff down. You know, in a lot of ways, they say we take a lot of these bad conversations and we don't show them as much sometimes. It's not shadow banning, because I don't even want to get into that. But I think they try, like even on Facebook, they're like, we put things down on the newsfeed. They're already, if you want to use the term censorship, and I don't use that term, they're already doing that. They're already making media decisions on these things all over the place. Right. But they don't want to admit they're making media decisions because they don't want to. It's a really strange mentality in Silicon Valley when they're actually behaving like a media company and pretending that they're not a media company. And it's I'm not sure what to say until they accept their adult responsibility to manage their platforms for the good users and create a great environment. It's just from a product point of view, alone.